Geeta Pillai. I'm the founder of a network for South Asian women called Soul Sutras. I'm also the creator of a podcast called Masala Podcast. I've won awards, I've sat on many panels like this, I get interviewed in magazines, but I still remember the shame of that 12-year-old me. I still feel it in my body. I feel it like sweat in my armpits, I feel it like heat in my body. We as South Asian women, one of the first words we're taught is chi-chi in Hindi, if you speak Hindi, which is shame, or aye, which is Malayalam, which is what my parents spoke. Both of the words are shame, and they are taught to little children. If you're a little child running naked, because that's what kids do, you come out of a shower and you're running naked, and your parents say, chi-chi, aye. So we learn about shame as South Asian kids before we can even speak. We know what that means before we understand the language. Shame is a weapon used in my culture to keep us quiet. We're taught to feel shame about our body. We're taught to feel shame about sex. Shame is what keeps us quiet when an uncle or a cousin at a wedding touches you in a way that they shouldn't. You keep quiet. Shame is what happens when maybe you tell your parents and they tell you not to tell anybody because shame. What will people say? There are two words in Hindi. One is izzat. Izzat is honor. And sharam is shame. And they're really closely linked. So women in South Asian culture are taught that we carry the honor of our families, our body, our virginity, our, going along. That means the honor of the family. And should we do something, we are dishonoring our family. So someone else might touch us or grope us, but we are the ones dishonoring our family. So it's a really hard concept if you don't come from that culture, but it's very much part of how we grow up and how we internalize this. So there's lots of shame in our culture. There's shame around mental health. If we are depressed or if we're taught to, oh, you can't tell other people that, but because that is going to be shameful. We're taught to feel, I don't know, I've messed up my notes. I knew I should have stapled them. We're taught to feel shame around sexual desire. So as a woman, if you feel sexual desire, you're taught to kind of keep it quiet because that's shame. We're taught to feel shame about not being the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect sister, not having the sort of job that you're told you should have. So if you're too big, shame. Too small, shame. Too loud, shame. Too much, shame. Shame everywhere. In fact, shame is so entrenched in our DNA as women in my culture that we don't even know we carry it. Shame is so part of us that we turn shame against other women. So we as women have felt it so much and so deeply and for so long that we use it as a weapon against other women because that's what we've learned. So what do? Do we carry on as we are, head bowed and shame coating every bone and every fragment of our DNA? I guess not. So I guess we start by having conversations like this and talking to each other about it. Because if, as a woman, or particularly as a South Asian woman, because that's my work, if you feel any shame around any part of you, whether that's your sexuality, whether that's your body, whether you're married or not, you have kids or not, your hair, your job, whatever, I want to say this one thing to you: it's not you. The shame isn't yours to carry. It's been passed on to you, it's got nothing to do with you. You have nothing to feel ashamed about. This necklace that I'm wearing, it says Besharam. Besharam is shameless in Hindi. So I want me and everybody from my culture to kind of embody that. because we have every right to stand here and voice these things. So that's all I have to say. Besharam, Sangeeta.